Hey guys, Daryl here. I am excited to unpack today's topic with you. But before I do, let me start off by introducing myself to those of you watching for the very first time. My name is Daryl Sweeney, and I am a coach who works with people on all things business, life, and leadership. Today's topic, intentions versus commitment. I've been seeing some really cool things in my own life and my own business around this idea of commitment, and I want to share it with you. So I first brought this topic to my coach a few weeks ago because I've been reading this book called The Ultimate Coach. It's about a coach named Steve Hardison. And one of his big things is BMW, be my word. And he talks about how our word is really one of the most important things we have. And doing the things we say we're going to do on a consistent basis. If we're not doing that, man, a lot of the other stuff doesn't matter. And it had me reflecting on my life. And I started to ask myself, where in my business and where in my life am I not being my word? And some things showed up for me. I started thinking about the meetings I go to. And I tell somebody I'm going to be there at 1 o'clock, and maybe I roll in at 1:03 or 1:04. I started thinking about the times where I tell a client I'm going to send them something. And as well-intentioned as I was, I forget. And I don't do it. I think about when I tell my kids that I'm going to show up in a certain way or I'm going to carve out some time and things get a little hectic and I miss out on that opportunity. You see, these are all examples of situations where I'm caught out of integrity, where I'm not being my word. I'm not doing the things that I say I'm going to do. Where are they showing up for you in your business, in your life, in your family? So I brought this topic to my coach because it's not who I want to be. I want to be somebody who, if I tell you I'm going to do something, you can bank on it. It's already done. You know it's going to happen. I don't want my kids wondering if dad's going to follow through or my wife or anybody else. And I'm not being hard on myself. You see, this isn't something that happens often or happens very much, but it happens enough. And I just don't want it to happen, or I want it to rarely happen. Again, I would challenge you, where in your life are you telling somebody you're going to do something and it never happens? See, these are opportunities for you and I. These are opportunities to take a step forward in integrity, to be somebody who shows up and honors their commitments. So in unpacking this with my coach, he really helped me see the difference. He said, I'm calling things commitments because I told somebody I'm going to do something, but I'm treating them as intentions. Right? And the difference between an intention is I intend to do something, but ... Right? But I got busy, but something came up, but something else, whatever it may be. A commitment is rock solid. A commitment involves follow through. And one thing he said really struck me, and he said the difference between an intention and a commitment is a commitment has a built-in system to make it happen. And that kind of blew my mind because it's so simple, but felt so profound. And it's starting to change everything for me. I can tell you that I've been honoring my commitments at a much higher clip than I ever did before since that conversation. You see, I've built systems around what happens when I tell a client that I'm going to send them something. I've built systems around when I tell my kids we're going to spend time together. I've built systems around the way I show up as a husband for my wife. I'm starting to build systems in my life that help me honor the commitments that I make because they're that important, because it's that serious. So where in your life could you use a system to help you honor your commitments? I'll give you another one. What about the commitments you make to yourself? How many times have you talked about going to the gym? How many times have you talked about eating right? How many times have you talked about carving out a little time for meditation or whatever it may be? What are the commitments you're making to yourself but you're not following through on? The promises you're making to yourself and you're not following through on. See, I think far too many of us find ourselves out of integrity. We find ourselves falling short of the commitments we make, and we're training ourselves not to trust ourselves. And I'm as guilty as anybody. But I'm flipping that around. Just like that, I've made the decision to be a guy who honors his commitments. Right? It's causing me to be more careful with my words and what I commit to. I don't throw out, I'll do this or I'll do that willy-nilly. Because once I commit, it's written, it's done, it's in stone. So I'm careful with my words. But on top of that, when I make a commitment, I am creating systems in my life and my business to make sure I honor them. My follow-up with clients has been better, and my commitments to myself have been better. This is an opportunity not just for me, but for you. Where in your life are you not honoring commitments at work, at home, to other people, and to yourself? If you want to take that same step, if you want to be somebody that everybody around you can count on, that follows through, that does what he says he wants to do, that shows up in the way she says she's going to show up, take your intentions and create commitments. And that requires you taking a moment to figure out what you really want to be committed to. But I guarantee you that when you do, your world will start to change. And if you need help with this, if you need somebody to bounce this off of, hit me up. I'd love to have that conversation. I'd love to know what your commitments are. What's most important to you? What are you really committed to showing up to do, to accomplish, to be? Let's have that chat. You can hit me up on this platform. You can hit me up on my website, darrellsweeney.com. But this is the shift. This is the opportunity. This is how we take our lives and our businesses to the next level. I guarantee you, if you start turning your intentions into commitments, things will shift. I know they have for me. Talk to you guys soon.